watch stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Michael Peña and also Anna Kendrick. And this is probably one of the sort of best buddy cop films we've seen in quite a while. But it's again one of these other sort of found footage films that seems to sort of cropping up lately. But is this, you know, a good film or maybe just a bad mix in between? The story of the film is just basically, basically about these two guys. You know, they're cops obviously, but they're team buddies, and they've been through the thick through it all, and it's just like you just see them like uncover sort of like their paroles, and then like sort of dealing with other sort of officers, and also like sort of their personal lives. And to me, I find that's actually pretty good because it gives a more realism to the whole thing. And one of Jake's character, like, he wants to sort of record all this stuff, as normally, and it's pretty sweet. He's got some cool shots in there, and it's actually a pretty sweet. Not kind of like the best story ever, but it's pretty good for this kind of setup of film. Now the two main protagonists, they are literally what sell this movie, because they have the relationship that you expect from from a buddy cop, and it's really good, because they talk literally sometimes a lot of shit and whatnot, and some of the stuff they come out with is pretty good. But when it gets all serious, that's when they're and even like supporting one another, and I think that's pretty awesome. Like, you don't really see that in much of these sort of like buddy cop films. It's normally one's like the main hero, the other is kind of like the the kind of like the sidekick and whatnot. But this is just totally real. And I also like the main bad guys are these Mexican crews, right? They're form of like sort of like sex trafficking, drugs. They're literally taking over like the whole block. And there's like kind of like a scene in it where this actually happens early along in the film, where Michael's character fights this gangster, right? Because he's given a lot of sort of abuse to, I think, a mailman. These two sort of go at it, and then later, a couple of like say 10 minutes or so after it, the guy who was getting like arrested or whatnot, he says that this guy is gangster because he was real. Like, he could have, like any other cop, who would have fought me, would have went, right, thrown your ass in jail. Instead, he just gave me like a warning. So he gained a sort of respect, and you see him later on in the film. He's warning these guys that these Mexicans are after him, because you kind of see what they kind of uncover through them. And this is the point where I'm going to say about the sort of like the hidden footage thing, because it's a good concept, right? I mean, you see it most of the time on television, like these cop shows, right? Like real life, like sort of cop situations, and I do love watching it, and I absolutely did love watching this, but it didn't make sense most of the time. Like, why would like these gangsters like carry video around? It's for some reason they decide they want to have footage of their actions. Like, you've got like other shit you've got to worry about, and this is the one thing you decided to kind of uncover it. And it just seems a bit too. It goes a bit too over the top, I would say. Like, I mean, I don't mind it. Like, it's still like a really good film. It goes a bit too over the top sometimes, and I think it, it really should tone down slightly. But all in all, that's only the sort of two sort of big complaints I have. It's still a really good watch. So I'm actually going to give it an 8. I think it's a really good film. It's probably one of the best sort of found footage films that I have seen this year. I just wish as though they would probably have, maybe a bit more realistic, not like too over the top, but overall it's still a good watch, and probably highly recommend if you are into like sort of cop movies.